Thank you so much for coming today. I'm Sara McCracken. I'll introduce myself properly in a wee minute. But again, I've been wanting to run this webinar for ages, and it's really just my way of trying to help people to get visible. Do you know how to raise your profile, how to tell people how brilliant you are, what you do, and that will ultimately then lead to more clients, which is what we all want at the end of the day. Or it could lead, if you're a charity, it could lead to more like service users or you need to tell me who your audience is, but obviously raising your profile, whether through the media, through social media, through networking, through all the many ways that we can do it, all add up then to start positioning you as the expert in what you do, and then start to build that know, like, and trust then with your audience. Obviously, I'm going to say it's really, really easy, but I really get the concerns that people have when you do it, and we're going to address some of those as well. I'm quite interactive, like keep the chat going. I'll ask you to say yes, whatever, ask questions. Like I say, we'll have questions right at the end for the people who are here live. You can ask me absolutely anything in connection with PR, communications, visibility, reputation, anything you like. And if people watching this on the replay have questions, then just drop me a wee email. So just before we get started, could you tell me in the chat, like, who are you? Because we've not met. Tell me what you do. Feel free to share your social media links or links about your business. And is there something in particular that you would like to discuss or need some help with or are concerned about, or something you want to know about raising your profile and becoming a wee bit more visible? And then that'll help me hopefully shape some examples as we go along. But again, I 100% believe that we all need to be supporting each other. So share your links, connect up with each other, ask questions. Please do that in the chat. We've got 12 people on. Hello, everybody. Rob was drinking his coffee. Awesome. Love it. Hello, Carol. Um, I am featured in all main publications want to connect with more brands. Fabulous. Yes, we need a bit of a brand strategy there, a comms coordinator. I need to be more visible within my organization. I totally get that. Yes, and again, that sort of internal piece, in my mind, the principles are exactly the same as doing external comms. How do you position yourself as the expert, whether it's speaking up in meetings, is it, doing the presentations? Can you walk on stage and say what it is that you need to say? Well, say on stage, like in the Endless Teams meeting, can you say what it is that you need to be saying? Help charities raise more and stress less, want to be more visible. Currently in the Turf Pub in Wrexham. You're winning the lunchtime venue for the day. Yes, raising money for charities, really, really important. Having done it in as part of my role as well. Oh, Esther, how are you? I'm a digital marketer who's far better at promoting everyone else and myself. She's right. And Esther, please put in details of your upcoming events that you're organising. I know you might not have the booking link done yet, but tell everybody about it, please. We have a jeweler. Oh, lovely. Natural gemstones, personal stories and thoughtful gifting, design and maker, illustrated and silver collection. Oh, please pop in your links to all of that, and I'm going to go and have a nosy at you later. Oh, you got your links. I'm scrolling down. That's brilliant. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. That's brilliant. Right, keep those coming. Do you know one of the things I absolutely love about working for myself now is hearing so many different businesses that are out there? Because when you're working for a large organization, and my last role was with the RSPB, you're focused on obviously on that, as you should be, but it's quite inward focused. There's not that big an opportunity to get out and start to meet different entrepreneurs, business owners, different charities, different leaders. So that is one thing I absolutely love about it. Oh, education sector. Yes, I've worked in the education sector too. We can certainly talk about that till the cows come. But yeah, getting the good news stories out there and increasing visibility of the college. Actually, I was going to do some socials today, some videos on my socials about back to school. Do you know, can you comment on school uniform prices? Can you comment on new stuff that's coming in for your students? So there's loads that you could be doing actually on that right at the minute, including for a college as well, and loads of back to school bits, 100%. Yeah, brilliant. Thank you. So there's one person on the call who knows me. The rest of you, I don't think we've met. So I'm Sara McCracken. I know I don't look at that. I've spent about 25 years now doing PR, helping brilliant people tell stories that the media actually wants to cover. So in addition to that, I've also led campaigns, public affairs work, crisis communications, all different aspects of PR. I'm very much a generalist, which I then absolutely love. And I came into PR by accident. I have a degree in zoology and genetics, fun facts, and a research sheet for a bit. But throughout my career, I've always been talking to people. I've always loved organizing events. I've always liked engaging with the media. So my career gradually moved towards that. And as a result of that, I am a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Public Relations and I am a chartered PR professional. So I've got my qualifications, if you like, which again will potentially, sing make me different to other people out there potentially offering similar services. It's about your ethics, about your strategies, about your leadership having those qualifications. And I'm really, really proud of that. I am based in County Down, Northern Ireland, on a small farm, and it's just me. So I know what it is like to do all the things as a small business owner without a big team or agency. I mean, I left behind a team of 16 and I'm trying to do all that work myself. So I absolutely get it. Oh, I'm loving all the chats coming in. Right, I'll not get distracted by that. We'll come back to that later on. But yeah, I know what it's like as a charity with very, very small budgets and you want to do all the things. I know what it's like as a business owner and you want to do all the things. But again, that cash flow thing, at what point do you devolve things to somebody or delegate to people? So yeah, we can talk about that as well. But what I would say is, I'm not an accountant. You want to see. I have all these receipts that I need to type up into my spreadsheet. My accountant's waiting on it, but I have her as an expert helping me with my books. And doing comms is no different. You can bring in a social media expert. You can bring in an expert to help with your PR. You can bring in an expert to help with any, a VA, a PA, any aspect of your business. So that is okay to do as well. But obviously, it's finding the right one is the first go off and having that cash flow as well. And I founded my business, the PR Club, to help as many people just like you to raise your profile. So in terms of that, oh, there's some awards there as well. So I've been on the top 50 list for independent practitioners for the last 2 years. And I'm a female F entrepreneur, top 100 entrepreneur as well. So anybody on this list who's a female entrepreneur, please look at that for next year and apply to get on that list as well. Some really great opportunities in connection with that. And in terms of what I offer at the minute, and I'm telling you all of this up front because it would be lovely to work with you at some point. I do training, so online and in-person training, workshops, bespoke for clients, as well as I'm running a press release training workshop next month. Media relations, media training, crisis comms, that's a really popular one actually. Public affairs, reputation and storytelling. You would maybe be surprised, maybe not be surprised at the amount of organisations that don't have a crisis comms plan in place. Again, it's just something that you need in your back pocket for when the inevitable actually happens. I mean, look at all the headlines in the news today and think of those per comms teams having to do, I mean, TUI last week on the cruises. Think of that per comms team having to deal with issues not of their making. So a plan really helps just manage that process. I've got Invisible to Influential, a half day done with you PR intensive to work out your story, get your visibility opportunities lined up, and how to become known in your industry. And that's just a really, I was finding I was having to do a lot of proposals for people. So this just simplifies the whole thing. So it's what I would do having written a proposal. So it's just really simple. You just book your time with me. We have a call, we map everything out. You then can rebook and we can go through things in more detail. So I'll share some links about that as well. One-to-one coaching and mentoring, absolutely love it. I'm the CO3 Mentor of the Year 2025, love it. And again, I work with leaders, elected representatives, even comms people, just to help support and mentor them, act as a sounding board. It's again, when you're working on your own, it can be really isolating. If you're in a small team, maybe it's just you and your business, maybe it's just you and your team. Having that sort of pair of ears to listen is really, really important. Interim contract and fractional support. I'm going to tell you about one of my clients in a minute. Strategy development, love a plan. Love a strategy. And I don't tend to work with clients until we get that plan in place. And, for me, it's really easy to pull together. And that's what I love doing. And that just gives us our foundational piece. Love doing events as well. I'm currently organising the Mossville Riding Club show, which is happening Saturday. So if you're in Northern Ireland, you've got a horse, come along to that. But yeah. And again, that's one of my bantams. I was at an event in Birmingham on LinkedIn and I sat beside this lady. I mean, I didn't know her, but sure, I said, I was at one of your webinars. You're the one with the chickens. So again, visibility. What are you going to be known for? I am known as the one with the chickens and I am actually okay with it. I have a array of woolly hats as well, but again, I can't use those photos at the minute because we've had a heat wave. Anyway, digressing slightly, but again, that's more about me. More than happy to chat about any of that. And like I said, it'd just be lovely to work with you at some point. Now, you're saying, like, am I any good? So again, in terms of your profile, in terms of your visibility, I then have to do my own PR. And I want to introduce you to Great Big Green Week. So I have worked on two occasions now for the Climate Coalition, running comms for Great Big Green Week, which is the UK's largest celebration of action for nature and climate. In 2025, we had a 64 million reach across print, broadcast, and digital media. Me, working 3 days a week with this particular client. 510 news articles and 14 ITV broadcasts plus 32 radio broadcasts. So that was pretty big for me based here. The rest of the team scattered across the UK. And I know it was good because we had 1.2 million people take part in events throughout the week. And I also won a CIPR Excellence Awards. And I am so very proud of this. This is like the top award I could ever get within my industry. So that was me and Mary this year winning that award. Now for 2026, spoiler alert, the stats are even better. We had an 84 million media reach. That's across the UK. And you're thinking, well, you know, you're not looking to 1.2, with 1.8 million people taking part this year. We're not looking to go that big. I did a piece of work for a client here in Northern Ireland and focused really on local news here. With a media reach of 14 million. And I nearly fell off my chair when I looked at the stats the other day because it was in and around 2 million, which I was delighted with. So that's in local paper, local digital online. We had an ITV broadcast. And then the BBC actually ran a story a couple of weeks after the event using all our footage and all the rest of it. And that bumped up the reach sorry, we reached 60 million. That bumped up the reach by 14 million. So absolutely huge. So again, it was strategic. We had a plan, we had the press release, we had the story. And again, it's me picking up the phone to journalists and just saying, would you like to cover this? So those results really, I hope, speak for themselves. Loads of testimonials on my LinkedIn. Please go and read them. I also have loads of testimonials on my Google My Business page. So please feel free to go and look at those if you need a bit more reassurance about how my approach and does it work. And like I said, I'm going to be really upfront with you. These are the opportunities to work with me right now. The Invisible to Influential One-to-One and the online training. It's taking place next month. And use press 20 if you like 20% discount off those. There's a charity rate and small business rate. And then there's a larger business rate as well. You self-select on that because I trust you. And again, use that for some discount and I'll get those links out to you as well. But the best thing to do is to book a tea and chat with me. There's a few slots available right now. So I thought I'll get this up early. And again, there's an online training brochure. I'll send around the links. But again, that if you want to book a tea and chat, ask me anything about PR. Like it's just literally, I sit and have a cup of tea and we chat for 15 minutes and that's it. And I can sort of help you clarify some thoughts on getting visible. So maybe you're now thinking, I don't know where to start when it comes to raising my profile. I mean, does that sound familiar? Give me a thumbs up, drop something in the chat. Um, you know, and I hear that quite a lot when I'm speaking to entrepreneurs, business leaders, business owners, even fairly senior leaders as well. You're trying to do the day job, and this is just another thing that you have to be doing. And I want you to think about credibility markers as well. Think of all the different ways that you can show up publicly. All the places where a potential customer, a journalist, a potential business partner, funder might come across you. And you need to be seen in lots of different places, lots of times before you start to become more memorable. And it's really just to start to get to that point where customers are talking about you when you're not in the room. Like, I'm the chicken girl. Are people talking about that? I'm okay with that because I am trying to manage what it is I put out on socials to create a professional, well, have you seen my socials? To create a professional persona, to demonstrate my knowledge and my skills and how I can help you. And that is building my credibility in this area. The awards help as well. Please apply for awards. The awards help as well. Doing your own PR helps. But again, are you out networking? Are you blogging? Have you a website up to date? Are you going on podcasts? Esther on the call has a podcast as well. Please share the link for that. Again, are you doing stakeholder engagement? Are you sending out newsletters to your mailing list or to your clients, to your customers? Again, what does your social media look like? And branding. I think we have a branding expert on with us as well. So again, think of all those different ways, all those different touch points for your customers to see you. And what are you doing to maximize those? Again, this is all building up your credibility, your trust with your customers, and that is going to lead to more sales. I was trying to find a Dolly Parton quote for today. I have to say I'm a bit devastated to be honest, but we'll go with Oprah. In the end, all you have is your reputation, and your reputation is being built every single day, whether you're managing it or not, and that's in connection with your visibility. So are you telling your own story or are you leaving it to chance? You need to start to think about all these things as a business owner or leader. So you are in the right place if you don't know where to start. Let me just check a few things off here. Give me a yes in the chat. I mean, do you worry about what other people will think if you recite to do a wee story on Instagram? Like this is really common. Like this is hundreds of people that I've spoken to. There is that real fear of like, oh, someone's going to comment on my hair. Seems to me. You see other businesses out there and you think, oh, that should be me. You want a tried and tested framework to follow. Again, I can help you with all of these things. Maybe you just feel a wee bit of invisible in your industry, or again, we've talked about if you want to raise your profile internally, again, you're feeling just a wee bit invisible. You know you're good. I know you're good, or you wouldn't be here. But again, how do we get that visibility up for you? Yeah, is anybody noticing you? Your visibility, raising your profile through a PR approach will really help that. Now, I know the juggle is real, and again, like we've talked about, you can bring in expert support for any aspect of your business. And again, I think that's the joy for me of working as an independent practitioner. You can come in for a couple of hours, we can sort stuff out, and that's it. Or I can work on a longer term contract with clients. It's just that flexibility that I absolutely love. And again, accountability is key. Now, I do have a membership community. It'll reopen in the new year. But again, what the members of that actually really love is the accountability. We meet every Monday for an hour. We do a mastermind or I do some training, whatever they've told me that they need. But it's that accountability. So when I say, oh, what are your plans for the next week or months? And they've told me, we can come back at a future date and say, have you done that thing? Have you sent that press release? Have you done those social posts? And again, it's that accountability that they find really, really important. So count me in as your accountability partner. And again, I've spoken to hundreds of people over the years, like 25 years, apparently it's a long time. And there's lots of reasons why they're failing to raise their profile. So I find that people don't know how to get started. So there's no action at all. Or they jump ahead into doing stuff like, oh, just send out a press release. Like one per press release, it's not a strategy. It's just a scattergun approach that doesn't lead to very, very much. Um, their comms approach isn't aligned to their business planning. So what's the point? And this is a really key part of visibility and your PR approach. You have objectives as a business to sell more widgets or provide more service or to do and work with more people through your charity, whatever it happens to be. Your comms has to support that. It's not a standalone. So all the comms needs to tie in underneath your business objectives and really bring some focus to that and make sure that you're all heading in the same direction. Again, lack of that structured approach to raising profile and getting visible. And as a result, then opportunities are missed because they're just not sure what to do. Like if a journalist calls, hey, what do I do? Who do I call? Call me. We'll sort it out. Or, I've got this thing, I've won this award. Who am I going to tell? Or we're launching a new business, or we've just employed 1,000 people, or we've just got £1 million of grant funding. Huge opportunities to tell your stakeholders about. But again, it's just you're in that overwhelm and just I know the to-do list is so long. But the people I spoke to, they think they're starting to fail. You're not failing at all. It's just you need to take that step back, start to get a process in place, and then you'll just be raising your visibility on a daily basis, and people will start to really know, like, and trust you. And again, I just want to give everybody the confidence to raise their profile as well in whatever it is that you want to do. Anyway, I'm going to cover three things today. So that's what's stopping you from becoming more visible, and I'll appreciate your feedback on that as whether I've got that right or not, and what's missing when it comes to your visibility. And again, we'll do the three actions that you can take right now to become more visible. So again, this is, every training I start, every workshop I start, I'm always talking to people and I'm asking you what's stopping you from raising your profile. And I see it as well in a lot of the Facebook groups that I'm in as well, just business owners, entrepreneurs wanting to get started, but they're just not very sure what to do. So I think there's these 6 areas that stop people from becoming more visible. I don't know where to start. I know I've said this before, but it's fairly basic. Again, how does the media work? How do I use social media? Where do I begin? There's so much to do. You just feel stuck at square one. If that's you, type a one in the chat. I'll not hold you to it. But again, it's just feel seen that it's not just you. Oh, we've got a one. Excellent. It's just really as well known that it's not you, particularly if you're an entrepreneur or small business owner, you're on your own a lot of the time. So again, it's having those conversations with people is really, really important. Like, oh, it's not just me. We're all maybe stuck, but I can help you with that. Who feels like they're making it up as I go along? That's a daily occurrence for me. Not going to lie, in some aspects of my business. I've been in business for 2 years, on my own, having worked for 25 years. You've got that structure, that comfort of a paycheck, and all of a sudden you need to learn how to do websites and your socials and do your accounts and do your books and just everything. So yeah, I absolutely get it. But it does often need to like a scattergun approach in terms of your visibility, which don't lead to those real results, which then just feels really frustrating and a waste of time. And again, I'm here to change that. And again, I just love it when I get an email in from someone going, I took your advice. Well, that fills me with fear, but I took your advice and I've got a piece in the paper. I mean, that is just amazing. Or I took your advice and I was talking, right, so we story. I was talking to a lady at the riding club one night, and she didn't want to do videos on social. She said, "Well, I love your videos on socials, your wee story." I said, "Why not just do one? It's just go over there now and just film one." So she did it when she got home. Client got straight in touch with her, like within 10 minutes. Like, how brilliant is that? So again, just giving people the confidence to do that. It can feel really overwhelming to take some action. And again, what have I got to say? Why did someone listen to me? That is really common. Give me a three if that's you. And again, one of the bits I love about our tea and chats when you book a call with me, it's to start to hear about what you do. It's to start to hear more about why you're running your business. And those stories are just amazing. People want to change the world. They want to change their communities. They just want to make a better life for their families. Brilliant. Love it. We can take all of that and turn that into stories all about you to raise your profile. Oh, this is another one. I don't want to look like I'm showing off. There is genuinely a fear of judgment at times, and that who does she think she is? Um, I have got over that. I'm not going to lie, but it's a real fear for some people. What are people going to say about me? But again, it's back to that you want them talking about you because you're putting the information out there. You don't want them talking about you because you haven't said anything. So again, toot your own horn. If not you, then who? Nobody else is going to come along and do it for you unless you're going to pay an agency thousands and thousands of pounds, which is a perfectly legitimate approach. But again, we need to get like business Sarah doing her business profile raising, and then you can keep the personal stuff separate. So again, things to think about there as well. Please show off, toot your own horn. Tell me you're doing it. I can't wait to hear more about it. Not a common one. There's someone in the chat. Don't want to have the notions. I'll give you notions. Don't you worry about that. Speaking of video, who feels sick at the thought of taking out their camera and recording a 30-second reel or a 20-second story for Instagram? Nobody likes how they sound or look. Lots of people tell me they hate social media. But again, think of your social media in particular as a business tool. It's not personal. It's not like your Facebook page, which is a bit more personal, your Facebook thing, and you're posting about your kids going back to school. I forgot to take the back to school photos, by the way. Better do that on Monday when they're both back, or Tuesday when they're both back. You know, Social media is a tool. I used to push Avon catalogs through letterboxes. So the fact that I can reach 11,500 people potentially on LinkedIn is absolutely genius. Like, embrace it. It is an opportunity. It is a way to raise your profile. Don't like how you sound, look. Yeah. Nobody does. It's fine. I guarantee you will sound and look absolutely fine to your ideal client. And if you're Northern Ireland, you get the dry book before you go and speak in public. That's normal. That's your nerves. And it's just about reframing that into something positive because your brain doesn't know the difference. It knows you're anxious about something, but you just frame that into positivity. So, yes, I suffer from this a lot. I don't have time for all of this because my to-do list is just getting longer and longer, and the juggle is real. And there's cats to be fed, and dogs to be walked, and families to be looked after, and businesses to run. Take that deep breath. PR visibility, it tends to slide down. But think again, you need to keep your visibility up so your customers can hear about you or come to your event or pitch to your podcast or apply for that funding or sort out that charity. So again, it's just about understanding where it comes to priority list and making it manageable. I don't need you to burn it out. 15 minutes a day, half an hour once a week, that is going to really significantly help if you can focus then in on raising your profile in a set period of time. I'm going to talk about all of that. I know I just talked about, speaking of video, making you feel sick. Videos have been absolutely a game changer for me on TikTok and Instagram in terms of increasing my reach. Like, it's just gone whoosh. Actually, I'm part of a veterinary platform. I'll send you around the information for that as well. That just makes it really, really easy. So we need to find some time, and I absolutely get that. Anyway, the outcome of all of this, if nothing changes, there's no action at all. You're going to stay stuck. There'll be no profile or visibility. Nobody's going to know about you, and you're going to lose sales. Um, I should say rivals, not your customers. You lose sales to your customers. Yeah, the customers aren't going to find you to make the sales anyway. So it's the cost of inaction. But anyway, you're here and we're going to sort it all out. And you're going to have some actions to take later. I'm quite interactive. I do like giving people homework. Um, but is this resonating so far? Just give me a wee chat. I can't wait to read the chat later actually, but I'm determined not to be distracted. Oh, we've got a very much. Thank you for that. Um, I take some tea. I'm a tea drinker, by the way. No coffee. And we've got another yes. Yeah, no, that's okay. And again, absolutely not committing you to anything. It just helps me stay focused on what I am trying to yeah. And it's really, yes, it does resonate. Nice, always nice not to feel alone. And like, yeah, I was talking about this at a networking we were at yesterday, and somebody on the call was at that as well. And I think it was them that said, it's nice to get out and meet other people, and you don't, and just have those conversations, particularly when you're a small business owner. So yeah, we'll talk about networking later on as well. Right. This is where it gets interesting. Because when I ask people why they're not raising their profile, they start to blame themselves. They might think they're not interesting enough, or not well known enough. And that's not the reason. Like, I can guarantee it. It's usually one of three specific things. So if any of these resonate with you, we can then start to fix that and then start to make those steps forward. And we're not talking about raising your profile so you end up on like Newsnight. Unless you do, in which case we can talk about that. But I'm talking even about those smaller steps where you don't like posting on social, so let's get a post written. 6 lines, that small action. And once you've done it once, I promise you it gets easier the next time, and then the next time, then the next time. And then you can start to add more in. So it's about breaking it all down into really manageable steps. So I am a planner. If you have no plan in place, it's going to be a disaster. And I actually start pretty much all my client calls with mapping out a plan. It's literally an hour or an hour and a half with me on a Zoom call. And then I can start, I'm really good at pulling thoughts and ideas together and pulling that into like a plan with like aims, objectives, timelines, bit of messaging. Audience identification is really key as well. But once we have that, that's your foundational piece, and everything else then will flow from it. So you don't have to keep rethinking your messages or keep rethinking who you're talking to. It's all there collated, ideally in a document that you can then start to use. And it focuses your efforts, and it just brings a bit more efficiency to the whole thing. So again, I do that whether that's invisible to influence or whether it's working with the client on a more longer term plan. Like Great Big Rainwake had a plan for 2025. It had a different plan for 2026. If I'm invited back for 2027, it's going to have yet another plan, and that will keep us absolutely focused. So you need a plan. Please remember that, write that down. A lot of the time, people aren't very clear on what they're actually saying. Now, this might be controversial, but I see a lot of those fuzzy statements floating about, and my brain generally doesn't work, and I don't understand them. I just think maybe I'm not their ideal client, that I don't understand these big strings of words that are trying to describe what people do. So if your message is fuzzy, no one will hear you. I can't even give you an example of fuzzy message because my brain just doesn't work like that. Like, I teach you how to write press releases. It does exactly what it says on the tin. I help you get visible. That's it. And I know I'm supposed to do some fluffy transformational language, but life's too short for that. Anyway, if you're not clear on what you do, your customers aren't going to hear about you. And when I say no one will hear you, think about how you're scrolling, for example, on social media. If you see a big long waffly post, you scroll straight past. If you get an email in your inbox with a big long convoluted first line, like, you're not going to read it. You're going to come back to it later, but you never do. So again, think about what you're trying to say. How do you break that down into short, concise sentences to make it really easy for somebody to read online? So again, it's all about clarity in your messaging and what you have to say. And I know you have loads to say. I know you've got a startup story. I know you help people. I know you're trying to, you know, apply for awards, win award, whatever it happens to be, you will have plenty of things to say about how you help people, and then we can get that into the messaging. This confidence piece, it just crops up every single time. Again, it's back to that, you're getting notions. What will people say about me? Um, you know, the thought of actually doing the things stops you. But again, your customers need to hear about you. You are absolutely good enough. And if you're thinking about visibility in the media, you know, PR is not for big brands. It's also for small businesses. You have every right to start to tell your story in the local paper, through your social media, through your e-newsletter, through your blogs, to start to raise your profile. And again, it's about starting small, something really simple to start to build confidence. I'm not saying you go into like a big 6-minute YouTube video telling the world everything. We'll break it right down to something really easy to do and get that out. And then that helps you to really start to shine and help you stand apart from your competitors, because that's what it's all about. And no one else is going to do it. You need to make that decision that I am going to do this one thing. Bring me in for some accountability, or catch up with somebody else in this call and get that accountability, and just take that one step. And then you take another one step, and then you take another one step. And before you know it, your profile's up there. People are starting to engage with you. And what I find as well, there's a lot of frustration as well, particularly on LinkedIn, of the reach and all has gone down. But what I find when I get out networking is people say, yeah, I read all your posts on LinkedIn last week. It's like, look, you not commented on them, but people are watching and reading what you do. So have that confidence, take that deep breath, take that step forward. You're absolutely good enough, but it's all about you and your business and making sales. So let's do it. So why am I telling you all of this? Like, I genuinely want to help you succeed. That's why I have started my business, why I left my job. So why I set up my business. I want to help more business owners raise their profile. You don't need, I get into trouble for this. You don't need a PR agency to start to raise your profile and get visible. You can get a PR agency, that's fine, but there's other options available to you. It's buying in a couple of hours support. It's working with an independent. It's, bringing in a comms person as a role into your business. But all those options are available to you. But again, my goal is to help as many business owners as possible have that confidence to raise their profile. And again, if you've ever thought any of these, and I think about these too, like, those thoughts still happen, even though I'm doing the PR for myself, and, I do know what I'm doing. But you know what? What if no one wants to hear what I'm saying? Like, what if nobody shows up to my webinars? Like, I was so pleased to see somebody drop into the waiting room. Do you know, it's like the first child coming to your child's birthday party. It's like, what if nobody comes? Do you know, it doesn't matter. I'll still record it anyway and send out the replay. It's absolutely fine. What do you think I'm showing off? I am showing off. I have showed off all the way through this and told you my great big green week results, and I've won an award. So what can you show off about? We need to get that. What if, what if? But what if, you got a visibility plan in place? What if you got clear on what you were saying? What if you took action to raise your profile? How would that impact on your business? How would that fill seats at your next conference? How would that get you some funding? How would that, raise your profile within your organization that you want to do? Um, what if someone needed to hear what you have to say? What if you sent out that press release? Like, what's the worst that's going to happen? It's not going to get printed, so what? The world won't end. But it might if it's a good story. And again, that's why I'm running press release training, to help people do that. We've got a journalist coming in to speak actually on that, so I'm really looking forward to it. What if you did that post on social media I told you about? The person I was talking to, they put up a story, they got a client out of it. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen all the time, but if you don't do it, you're never going to find out. What if you inspired someone to take some action? That's another good one. What if? So, a wee exercise for you to do. Write down all your what ifs. What could go wrong? Write them all out. Type them out. Voice note them into ChatGPT, whatever your favorite AI platform, and then turn them into something positive. It's a really simple exercise, but it gets rid of all the negativity and it turns it into positive to encourage you to take those steps forward. So try that, and let me know how you get on with that. And again, I've made up a wee visibility then. So again, if you're in the center of this, if you raise your profile, you're going to get increased visibility and good reputation. You're also going to get more clients and more opportunity. And the three things all overlap. If you don't increase your profile, people are going to be talking about you anyway, or they're not going to talk about you at all. Do you know what really annoys me? Right. Who has ever Googled somebody and can't find any online footprint about them at all? Like, that that does my head in, especially if I'm looking for a journalist and I can't find them. Like, do they even exist? Or if you're cyber stalking an old school friend, potentially you can't find anything about them, might want to reconnect with them, maybe you're just being nosy. But again, you need to have something out there. So when people are looking for your business, they will be able to find something that's accurate and up to date. But you're in the middle of it, because if not you, then who? So again, this is just the process that I go through in my head when I'm working with any client. Identifying the outcome you want to achieve, really important. So where are we aiming for? We need to talk about your audience, who you want to talk to. We need to decide on your story, all your message and what you want to say, and then we need to get that plan in place. So think of some outcomes that you would like right now. You write them down in your notebook. I want a new job. I want to have a better profile in my workplace. I want to position myself as the expert. I want to increase my sales. I want to launch a podcast. I want my audience to know about me and my business and organization. You need to tell me. So start to think about the outcomes you would like to achieve for your business and how communications then can start to help raise your profile. More examples of my lovely clients that I love working with. Helen's a first aid expert. She's brilliant. If you ever need first aid training, give her a call. But we sat down and mapped out her plan, and she's like those opportunities like Halloween. Burns at Halloween, really important to get some messaging out there. Choking at Christmas and Easter. Think of all the small toys that or batteries that young children have, potential choking hazards. So loads of potential opportunities for her. If she doesn't eat something every week, maybe just 4 times a year, and then can start to pitch in or do some blogs around it or do some LinkedIn posts about it. So again, that's about getting the messaging right around set points. Gail in the middle there, she's launched a podcast and everything. She's absolutely flying. But again, she took that step forward to write to a journalist, a publication, and started to pitch her ideas in, and it's worked out really well for it. And then the one in the end, oh my God, I did it. That's one of my clients. They sent a pitch to a journalist. They'd never done it before. And it was the fact that they had sent it was a success, not anything that followed that, but just that step that was taken. So I love that. Anyway, I'm going to pause, drink a cup of tea, and I'm going to give you 3 actions you can take right now to become more visible. And again, they're starting points. They're a taste of a bigger system, if you like, but there are 3 things that have worked really, really well for me and have worked well for other clients. And again, if you have other questions off the back of this, we'll do that in the Q&A. But the difference between someone who does things once and someone who does it regularly, that's what's really raising their profile. Do you know when you're scrolling on socials or looking through the papers and you keep seeing the same name over and over again because they're always popping up at the top of your feed? That's because they're posting regularly. That's because they're actively going out to the media. So again, it's that consistency. One post, no, post 3 times a week. You don't need to post 3 times a day, but it's picking that rhythm that really works for you, that you have time for and that you can manage. One newsletter once a week going out to your clients or once every 2 weeks. But again, it's that rhythm and consistency that really helps you stick to it. Anyway, need to solve these wee problems. Remember, we talked about them. You're making it up as you go along. You don't know where to start. You're going to start showing off now because you're brilliant. You'll find 15 minutes to do this. You've stopped feeling sick at the thought of it because you've reframed it as something positive. You're excited for it. And hopefully you're feeling a bit less overwhelmed. But we need to start to solve these things. So one way that's worked really, really well for me is clarify what you do. And again, a really simple format, and you'll see it all the time. So it's I am and I help so that. And now you're going, Sarah, what are you talking about? Here's an example. So I'm Sara McCracken and I'm one of the UK's leading PR experts. I help entrepreneurs and business leaders to gain confidence so they can take action to get visible. Really simple. And again, I'm not saying this will be your statement forever. You might want to revise it in a couple of months if you've changed direction or you're doing something different. But again, it's a really good structure to follow. And we're talking as well about raising profile and having that confidence piece. Now, I don't mind telling you, for me to sit here and tell you I'm one of the UK's leading PR experts, that's taken me a long time to get to that. Because again, who does she think she is saying that? So I've got over it. But I've said it enough times now that my brain believes it. And I've got the awards to prove it. I've got the stats to back it up. It's just your brain getting in the way. So write down a really nice, strong statement, how brilliant you are at what you do. And let's get that out there. So I am and I help, who's your clients, so that what are they going to achieve? Share it if you like, DM it to me if you want, email it to me. We'll sort it out. So from there, what I would like you to do as an action this afternoon is update your social media bios. And you're thinking, but I've got my social media up and running, but you need to go back and review it on a regular basis. Are they optimized? Have you got keywords? Now, LinkedIn in particular, I want you to remember, so LinkedIn will come up on a Google search. So is it telling your clients, your target audience, your colleagues, what it is that you want to tell them? Yeah. So does your profile tell your ideal client what they want to know? Is it easy for people to get in touch with you? And you can add in the clarity statement that you've just written to tell your audience what it is that you do. So people getting in touch with you is an interesting one. Are you actually asking people to get in touch with you? When I worked for a political party, I did their comms. I was never a party member, but you had to ask for the vote. So you have to ask people to get in touch with you. You can't just rely passively. They're going to just come across you and find you. So have you got a calendar booking system that you can share easily? Have you got the likes of ManyChat set up? So if somebody DMs a keyword, you will send them the stuff immediately, or is it just a link to your link tree or something like that? But is it easy for people to get in touch with you? And again, you've got your clarity statement now, and you can add that in as well. And in terms of LinkedIn, I spend a lot of time in my profile, and there's some really good LinkedIn trainers out there. Sam Rathline, I like her. She's got a school community actually. Um, but again, look at the format of her LinkedIn and copy it, in terms of who you are, what you do, the types of links. You've got featured posts. There's so much you can do there. And again, that is part of your visibility and your profile reason. And like I said, your LinkedIn profile will come up on a Google search about you. So that's really important. And I do believe Instagram is going to be potentially coming on Google searches as well. I think there's probably a social media expert, Esther, on this call who can clarify that. But yeah, make sure they're really well optimized. The keywords are there. So if your target client is searching for, I know, PR training, for example, they're going to come across you. Oh, and Google yourself as well and see what comes up. And then you think, oh, I need to go and maybe tweak a few keywords and try and get that changed. Do some networking. Right. I absolutely love working online, working from home. It suits me so well, but it is also lovely to get out and talk to people. So whether online or in person, there are so many opportunities out there. And I have come across, you can agree with me or not, but I think people get very stuck just on social media. I mean, like LinkedIn reach has tanked. You're busy trying to feed the beast on TikTok or whatever it happens to be. But again, you can pause that. It's only one route to raise your profile, and you're at, the whim of the algorithm gods, as it were. Get out and talk to people. So whether online or in person. Some of the ones that I love, you've got hashtag business events. It's online networking, but they do in-person events all around the country as well. So if you're in Belfast, Belfast Business Show is in September. Come and say hi. I've got my stand, I've got my pop-ups organised. Federation of Small Business does lots of online networking as well as in person. And again, those are open to members and non-members. Hashtag business events is free. They've got a school community as well. FSB, there's actually online networking tomorrow. I'm signed up for that. You don't need to be a member. You might have local business chambers. Look, you are going to know in your area what's on. And if you don't, Google. Eventbrite's really good. Have a search on LinkedIn for events, or maybe there's events within like your professional body networking as well. Local networks, they're getting more important as well. So rather than just sitting around the screen, you're out in the fresh air, hopefully with the dogs, out for a bit of a walk. But so many opportunities. Or start your own. I started Women in PR in Northern Ireland like pre-COVID, and that expanded really rapidly to over 300 members. So again, there's people out there, people want to connect and want to get to know you. Um, but where I'm going with this is you now have your I am statement. So you know that point when you have to go around the room and introduce you. I've seen people physically recoil from the microphone when that happens, and my heart goes out to them because it's really hard when you've not done it or if you're out of practice. But you now have an I am statement, so you can stand up and say exactly who you are to an audience and then sit back down again. You've practiced it, write it down, read it off your phone, who cares? But you have that statement now when you're networking to tell people what it is that you do and can help them with. Does that all make sense? Do those three things feel doable? But you see how it all builds. So you start with your I am statement, look at your social medias, make sure it's all up to date. build that into it, and then get out and talk to people. And then you don't have to feel quite so alone when you're doing things. Let me know if that resonates with you, or is there anything else that you think you could be doing right now? So just going to leave you a few things to think about before we do our Q&A. Visibility and profile raising, it's not one off, it's the J word, it's the journey. But it is, you need to take sort of a long-term approach to this. And I personally get very frustrated in some of the Facebook groups that I am in when I see particularly women business owners thinking that, they've been told that they can get 100K a month by 3 social posts and something else. Do you know what I mean? It really frustrates me. It takes so much time to build momentum, and a higher profile leads to credibility, credibility leads to higher profile, and it compounds over time. So again, pick your one social platform, focus on it, get going on it before you introduce something else. And again, that consistency as well beats intensity. So one social post, that's not a strategy. Can you do 3 per week? Can you do 2 per week? Pick what suits you, but get that consistency going. And again, that's going to separate people who get known and people who don't. Accountability is key as well. Like I've said, my press community members really value that, and certainly the other clients I work with one-to-one. Do you know, we come on a call, we can talk about, oh yeah, have you done this? Oh no, I haven't. Well, why haven't you done that? Or I have done this and this was the result, or I didn't do that, but I did this instead. And it's just having those conversations. It's really easy for your visibility to slip down the to-do list. But again, who's keeping you accountable? Do we need a WhatsApp group? Do you know, lots of WhatsApp groups as well, all different bits and pieces happening. But again, who's your business mentor? Who's your business advisor that can really just help you start to do this? So I hope that makes sense. Again, just to remind you, I have some programs up and running. Please book a tea and chat with me before we come into our Q&A. And just if there's things you want to talk about, you don't want to talk about in the public forum here, then certainly we can talk about it behind the scenes. So I'm going to pause and read the chat now. Then I'm going to stop recording, and then we're going to have a Q&A. So anybody else who is watching this in recording, thank you very much. You need to be here live to ask the questions. So yeah, let me see what's on here. Oh, we have, yes, Monday morning names of the chickens. They haven't got names, I'm afraid. I've got new hens actually. The wee red hens, they were lovely. Don't know where to start. Thought of cold calling sounds really cool. Oh, yeah, cold calling. But we can talk about DMs on LinkedIn. DMing people, if you do it nicely, if you do it with intention, if you send, what I do is I send the types of messages I would like to receive, not those hideous not pre-recorded, spammy type ones that, what are your business goals for the next 3 months? All that. I don't say anything like that. So maybe there's a route to DM people and invite them onto a call, or maybe we just need to identify the actual people who can help you sell your product and go for them directly in terms of cold calling. But equally, is it a cold call? How many people are in your network? Who could introduce you to the people that you want to talk to? I might know some, other people in this call might know some. So again, this is why the networking is so important. So you get into the room and you talk to people and you say, I would like to be connected to X, Y, and Z, and actually state who you'd like to meet. Guarantee someone's going to know somebody who can introduce you, and it's not as cold then. So I absolutely hear you in the cold calling. Got the Monday morning marketing podcast up there. I love it. Family parenting or education. Yeah. Oh, we've got somebody living in Counting Antrim. Wife also relaunching her business. Brilliant. Love it. We've got ones, we've got twos, we've got threes. Don't want to have notions. No, we don't have notions anymore. 5. I can speak on stage but not record myself. I get you. It's so much easier to talk to a room of 1,000 people or 500. Or I exaggerate slightly than, yeah, I know. Maker ones without you in camera. Yeah, those are people love seeing how things. So I am fascinated at the minute with these are videos for LinkedIn, crochet videos. I can't crochet to save my life, but I love seeing what they're making. So those can work really, really well. Record, but when I edit it, I feel it's not got enough value and I don't post. Oh, need to be a one-take wonder. Like some of my TikToks, like it's me with a hat on because I haven't brushed my hair, just talking about today's news. So again, we need to just think about what it is you're trying to convey, and what's the value of editing it. Yeah, you can maybe edit out a few ums and ahs. Maybe I have to do a couple of retakes because I've tripped over the dog or something like that. But again, it's breaking it down into something really easy and just understanding what that blocker is to stopping you just from posting it. So it just maybe a 10-second story is where you need to start and just talk to people and introduce yourself, say who you are, what you do. Something really simple just to get that confidence going. Got some yeses. Yes, nice not to feel alone. Do you always need a call to action? Yes, but it doesn't have to be follow me or buy now. It can be what you'd like to see next. Absolutely. Assuming anybody's even got to the bottom of your message to see the call to action. But again, it's nice to do that. And you see a lot of people using the likes of many chat, like comment, press, and I'll send you some press or comment, whatever, and you get the information automatically. It's hard to do super short reels as an expert as how do you get all the learning into a few seconds? Oh, yes, I like this answer. Do a series so people can click from one to the next. 100%. That's a good idea. But think as well about people's attention span. Do you know that you can do longer now on socials, but it's how to distill it. I mean, it is a skill to distill it down into like a minute or less. But again, that comes with practice. That comes with, understanding what your script needs to look like, setting a timer, practice, practice, practice. But I like the idea here of doing a series. Lurkers. Yes, I have a very positive mindset, Carol. You want more speaking opportunities? Yes, let's get you on some stages. I want a book deal, but I'm not sure what my clear message is. Well, we can talk about that. Gotta run, gotta catch the rest and replay. Oh, we have an I am statement. I love it. Love it. No, it's not too long. It's got to be as long as it takes. Now you don't want, oh, it's not Madara. You don't want it to be like 2 pages. And again, it's something for you to get up and say. So what I would encourage you to do now is, speak that statement out loud, and then you can start to refine it. Because what you find if you're, even delivering this presentation, you can write your script, but it's not what you would actually say when you stand up to say it. In case you haven't guessed, I'm not scripted, by the way, in case you haven't guessed. But when you're doing, a talk or a reel or whatever, until you actually say it out loud, you won't know if it's right or not. So if you have a dog, get the dog to sit there. They can be your audience. They're very non-judgmental, and just speak your statement out loud, and then you can start to refine it. Um, what would the cost be for a one-off PR session for a project? Can you book a call with me, please, and we can discuss that? It's a time cost. It depends how long it's going to be. And the proposal needs to be shaped around that. Or there is invisible to influence, which is you buy time, you buy it now, we book a date in the diary, and then we just do the work from there. But if you would book a call with me, please, I can take you through all of that. Lingo, what are notions? And that is a really Northern Irish term. Like who does she think she is? She's got real notions of herself. Like she thinks she's better than what she is. So yeah, it's a good, might get some merch with that on actually. Great advice. Thank you, Carol. Appreciate that. That's helpful. The dogs are used to me talking to them. Let's talk about dogs in a minute. Um, yeah, brilliant. Okay. Thank you so much for your time. I'm going to stop the recording now and then we can have a proper chat. I will when I find the record button.